Hello, so why is it important to give clear and concise and confident instructions? Have a look at this instruction. We've all given instructions like this, haven't we? Pause the video now and decide for yourself, what is the activity and can you write a better set of instructions? Pause the video now. Okay, so why are clear, concise instructions a good idea? Well, the pace and the momentum of the lesson is sped up and this motivates the students. If you can give confident and clear instructions, then the learners will have more confidence in you as a teacher and they'll work for you better. And finally, it's all about them, not all about you. So what is this activity? Here are some golden rules for when you give instructions. Firstly, plan your instructions. Until you get confident doing it, write them down. Don't use the target language in the instructions. Now, this task is turning left and right and directions, isn't it? So don't use OK, right. Right, take it in turns. Can be very confusing because the students are thinking turning left, right, right. Oh, does that mean right? OK. Get the students' attention first. How many times have you tried to explain a complex task and they're not looking or listening to you? One teacher that I watched this summer said, 1, 2, 3, listen to me. And it worked every time. Be decisive. Okay, now let me see. When you speak like this, it's just word alphabet soup to the students. It means nothing. Put the tasks that you want the students to accomplish into a logical order. Think about what you want the students to accomplish first before you give them the next instruction. Very important, get them into the right groupings or pairs for the tasks with all the materials they need in front of them before you start giving instructions. Speak clearly and confidently and use short sentences. Use simple, direct language. I hear this a lot. What I want you to do is talk about this picture. Why don't you just say, talk about this picture? Could you tell me where the cat is? That's quite a complex grammatical structure. It's an indirect question. Why not just say, where is the cat? Only give instructions for the task that the students are about to do. If it's a complex activity with 2 or 3 steps, give them instructions for step number 1. Let them accomplish that first. Then give them a separate set of instructions for task number 2. Hey, speak to the whole class. Get yourself in a position where you can see everybody's eyes. Make sure the students have eye contact with you before you start the instructions. Sometimes it's easier to show the students rather than tell them. Demonstrate an activity. Show them a flashcard, show them an image. Use gestures, use expressions on your face, use body language. These are often a lot easier to understand than words. Demonstrate the activity with a stronger student rather than explain an activity with words. If you take nothing else away from this video, that's probably the most important part. It's a lot clearer to show an activity rather than try to explain it. Finally, check the students understand, but never say, do you understand? Because their answer is going to be yes. Now have a look at these 2 instructions that I've heard in a classroom and tell me what's wrong. Pause the video now. What is the target language for instruction number 1? The target language is and, but, so. And within the instruction, the teacher also uses the words so, but, so, and. That makes it extremely confusing. This, I must confess, is an instruction that I've given, and my colleague who was observing me picked me up on this. What's the difference between different and difference? Talk together. What a terrible instruction that is. Now, pause the video. How would you change these instructions? Now, this is a little bit controversial. If you stand at the whiteboard and you explain everything for the students in detail, step by step, you're doing the thinking, not them. Why not leave some of your instructions for your task as a puzzle for the students to find the answers themselves? If you take this approach, be ready, because you might get a very different outcome to your lesson to the one you expected. The students might decide to make their own rules for the task, and they might learn the language they want to learn rather than the language that you want to teach them. Concept checking, or CCQs. This is checking the function and the meaning of the new language. Is that clear? Do you understand? If you ask, do you understand, the students might understand. Or they might not, because they're too embarrassed to say so, or they might think they understand. You need to check concepts, because they might not exist in the first language of the students that you're teaching. For instance, Indonesian students don't have the perfect tense. So you need to explain the concept of the perfect tense. They also don't have seasons, not like we know it. They have hot and rainy. The word sensible. If you're talking to French students, they might think that they understand the word sensible, because sensible in French means sensitive. It's a false friend. So again, be very, very careful if you say, do you understand? And the answer is yes. The students might think they understand. What does this mean? I think we all know what it means, but it's much more difficult to explain this word than the word actually is. So sometimes it's much better to give examples in context. Also, some different cultures have very different understanding of what irony means. So to check a concept, we use closed questions. Let's check the context of this grammar here. Now, I am used to means at first it was difficult or strange, then it became my habit, now it's part of life. Now, to check the understanding of am used to, you need to add some clues to put the word into context. So, at first I hated the busy city, now I am used to the terrible traffic in London. Are London streets busy, you ask the students? Yes, they can tell that from the context. Hey, did I like the traffic when I first arrived? No, I hated it. Is the traffic still bad today? Yes, it is. Has the traffic become part of my normal everyday life? Yes. By answering these short questions, the students are proving to you that they've understood the quite difficult concept of am used to, which means to become accustomed. But if you define it as am used to is to become accustomed is a more difficult word than am used to. Be careful. Never use the target language in concept check questions. Am used to means, at first it was difficult or strange, but now I'm used to it. Well, if they don't understand am used to, they won't understand you using am used to it in the concept check question. This is really, really easy to do with phrasal verbs. Who's given an instruction like this? I know I have. What about a wardrobe? With a wardrobe, you have to be quite specific. Is it made from wood? Yes. Is it in your house? Yes. Well, that might mean a table, mightn't it? What do you keep in your wardrobe? Plates, cups? No. Clothes? Yes. That brings you a bit closer. But hey, isn't it just easier to show them a picture? A classic error is task before text or text before task. If I hand out this worksheet, immediately students will look at the paper or they will look at their hand, and I have lost their attention completely. Now what I want you to do, pause the video and write instructions for this palm reading game. Okay, let me take you through a set of instructions for this game, and I want you to pause the video at the end of these instructions and comment. Everybody, can you see? You're student A, you're student B. A or B? A. A or B? B. Put your hands behind your back. Don't look at your hands. Look at this picture of your hand. If I look at the lines on your hand, can I tell you about your past, your present, or your future? The future. Correct. Starting with the heart line. Do you think with your heart? No. Can I tell you about your love life? Romance? Yes. Look at the lifeline. It's long. Will I get sick and die soon? No. What's fate? See this book? The teacher picks up a book. This book is your life. How old are you? I'm 15. Now, you are living on page 15. Is page 20 already written? Yes or no? Do you know which is the last page of your book? Is it page 70, page 90? Yes or no? If the book is written already, it's your fate. Have you met your future husband? I don't know. Is his name in this book? No. Do you believe in fate? No. Have you met your future wife? No, not yet. Is her name in this book? Yes, I believe it is. Do you believe in fate? Yes, I do. Keep your hands behind your back now. Teacher hands out the worksheet. The target language, the future tense, is projected up onto the whiteboard. Now you have a choice. You can give an instruction. Student A, hold up your left hand like this. Student B, look at your partner's hand and tell your partner's future. Go. Or you can demonstrate it, which is probably better. Philip, hold up your left hand like this. Philip, your lifeline is very long. You'll have lots of grandchildren and you will live until 100 years old. Now you try with my hand. The teacher shows Philip the left hand while the class watches. What do you think of those instructions? Could you write them better? Are they too long? Did you understand? Thanks very much for listening. I hope this helps.